like it's kind of like there's no distractions. Like there's nothing in that way. It really is me versus like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to
Yeah.
try? Because it's like all at my fingertips. Like I can kind of do whatever it is. And I could have did it before. You know what I mean? I think it's a difference of kind of like, I guess, getting yourself out of your comfort
Hi, friends. We're back for Black and Curious. I'm Kandrin.
What up, what up? It's Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. And if you've never been here before, welcome. We do commentary on pop culture and some introspection on real life. Jesus Christ. Deja has our topic for today.
So actually, we have been having conversations around community, and one of my good girlfriends has relocated to a new place. And so I'm going to bring her in to introduce herself so that we can talk about starting over and finding a new community there. So let's go ahead and bring her in. As she comes, look at her gorgeous face. It's just beautiful.
Gorgeous.
We're waiting for the audio to connect. There she is. Hi, beautiful.
Hey, ladies. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good. Okay, so everybody, this is my good girlfriend, Aleasesa Bouton, also known as Lisa to me, because this is my boo, my shugs. And as I pre-stated, we are talking about starting over. Lisa, break us down with this whole move, child, because she just was like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm tired. I'm getting the hell out of here.
We want to hear, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so well, it definitely wasn't like an overnight decision.
No, not at all.
At all. Like Deja knows, I had truly been talking about how much I was over Richmond for years. Like honestly, like several years. And I was just like, I knew one of the things that I kept saying, I was like, I really don't have anything that's holding me back. Like I didn't have anything, even though my friends and family were all in the city, that was like a minor thing, honestly, to me on the list. But there wasn't anything like, I'm in this, serious relationship that's keeping me here. I have any kids that I have to consider if I move. That wasn't really the case. And then I feel like the doors kind of open, kind of like one of the upsides to COVID happening and remote work becoming a little more prevalent, then it became an option for me. So then I was like, okay, well now I don't have to worry about the job either because I can just pick up my computer and go. So, and honestly, it could have been a matter of time. And like, when I thought I was ready to go several years ago, it was literally like a turning point in my life. I mean, like everything that could have went wrong before I left, like everything. So I took it as, okay, like maybe this isn't the time for me to go, or this isn't the place for me to go, because it was very clear to me, like everything that could have gotten away did get in the way. So, I didn't at that time. And then when I was revisiting the idea of this time, I was really like, like everything just seems to be lining up. Like, like nothing's going wrong. Like it's all kind of leaning in the right direction. It's kind of opening the door for me to be able to go. And like I said, I didn't have to worry about work. I could work from anywhere. So I was like, okay, I'm determined that this year I refuse to sign another lease in the same city. So we got to figure out where we're going, and I was like, even if where I go is not my forever home, I just got to get my feet moving. Like, that's just the biggest thing. And I have to overcome whatever it is that is holding me back. Cause it's just me. Like I was honest with that part to say, like, I know it's just me because there wasn't really much in the way that really kept me from going or leaving to go anywhere, So I was just like, I know that part is me. I don't know what that part is. But we got to get past that and just get moving. Like I said, if I don't end up here forever, that's fine. I gave it a try. If worst case scenario, I was like, I don't like it and I move somewhere else. And that's not a bad scenario. It's just so we gave it a shot. It didn't work. Let's go try somewhere else. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So where did you land? If you want to share or like state, you don't have to give a specific city, but like state maybe.
Yeah, so I ended up moving to South Carolina. It was one of the places that I visited. And so I think I really had kind of like a list in my head of things that I was considering when I was considering places. So I knew I kind of preferred to move further south. you know, weather-wise, better cost of living. I was like, I didn't necessarily need to move to like a huge city or to kind of gravitate towards the cities that everybody seems to be moving to. It's like the same, like 4 or 5 cities everybody's going to, because that
all the
also
blacks.
And I've lived in 2 of them, but yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I was like, I don't necessarily need to go where everybody's going, because then that kind of defeats the purpose, because that drives up the cost of living, which doesn't match, you know, one of the boxes on my list kind of thing. But I am a person that likes to do things. So I was like, I do want to be somewhere where there are things to do if there's things I want to do. And where I am is pretty central to other larger cities. So like Atlanta is like just a few hours away by, you know, driving. Charlotte's not that far, you know, Myrtle Beach, like there's just other places around. And then even going back home is not, it's still a car ride. So I felt like it was a good central location. Where I actually live, I was like, I like it. It reminds me kind of the area back home where I live anyway. But I was like, I don't need my home to be so busy. Like when I want entertainment, I'll go to the entertainment. It doesn't need to be around me constantly, kind of thing. So I do feel like I picked a good location. So far I'm happy.
I love that.
You know,
that's the biggest thing I miss about being in Atlanta is like, and part of the reason why I want to go back, I'm in Miami, so I want to go back north a bit. It's just feeling central and being able to get in the car and drive somewhere. And I'm not a driver, but I could at least go a handful of places within 5 hours is kind of my limit. So like within 5 hours, you can kind of get to almost anywhere from like that whole little corridor from that area. So that I love that. I love that.
Oh yeah, when I drove down here for the first time, that was the longest drive I ever did in a car. Like my limit was like 4 hours.
We in the same boat, boo.
5 is pushing it, to be honest. I did 5 when I was in law school a lot, but 5 is kind of pushing it, to be honest.
It is. Anything beyond 5, you're gonna have to put me on the plane, because I can't. I can't
agree.
You're right.
Hard agree. So you said you were able to pick up and move for work. What is it that you're, or like what industry are you in? Like how does that play in?
Yeah, so I actually work in digital marketing. So yeah, so the company that I work for, everyone is remote. And it's not a COVID standard. It's just, you know, how the company and how the team is. So that's never going to change, thank goodness. So yeah, so that made it easy to just go.
Yeah.
Talk to us about like, so understandably you've only been there a couple of weeks, but like how are you approaching like reestablishing a new community? Because like you're a super friendly person. This is how we became friends. So like how do you venture out now in like the mid-30s? Because when we met, we were like a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And to add to that question a little bit, when you're not going into work, because I feel like a lot of times we get connections through work.
Yeah.
So you're at home. So like, how do you manage that?
That is true about the work part. Fortunately though, I don't miss going in office, like at all. I mean, at all. I hope I never have to go in another office in my life. Like, let's just keep work and personal separate. You know, so I truly don't miss that part at all, but I operate the same way that I used to at home. Like I even then, you know, started getting more comfortable with like going out by myself or like going places by myself. Like, so that part doesn't bother me, which I, you know, had thought about. I was like, these are strengths that I have that I need to use to my advantage, you know? So I do the same thing here. You know, I've been several places and I've gone by myself, like, the Janet Jackson concert was this past Tuesday and I was in there.
I was going to ask you about that.
I went too. I went in Fort Lauderdale with one of my friends. She bought a ticket. She was like, "Oh, I need somebody to go with me." I was like, "Okay, I'll go." It was fun.
Yeah, I didn't need anybody to go with me. And the funny thing was, I got the ticket before I even left or moved. You know, I was just like looking up, researching like events and things going on in the area before I even came down. And so I had seen that there was going to be a concert. So I went ahead and bought myself a ticket. And it was kind of like around my birthday. So it was kind of like a little gift to myself, you know, because I didn't plan anything major for my birthday this year because it was too close to the time I knew I was moving. Yeah. So I was like, the move is the focus. I'm not really worried about planning like a big birthday trip or anything like that. Like, this is the goal. Like, this is what I'm trying to get to right now. So it's kind of a little something to myself. So yeah, I definitely went, had a good time. You know, like I've been out to dinner a couple of times. Went out the other night, took myself to happy hour and dinner, met a girl sitting at the bar. You know, so we exchanged numbers just in conversation. Like I'll, you know, spark conversation with, you know, as long as you look friendly, you know, you look like my speed,
Right.
and I'll just spark conversation and, just ask questions. And that's how people have told me about other things going on around here. Like she told me there's like a market that they have out here like every weekend. So I definitely plan to go. But yeah, that's just how you kind of learn the area, just by talking to people. And in most cases, especially if you tell me not from here, like they'll gladly tell you what there is to do or what's going on or what areas to try. So yeah.
Do you have any fears around being like living alone in a city where you don't necessarily know a whole lot of people?
Um, I wouldn't say like really innate fears. I think it's just like exercising common sense. Like, even though there's certain people in conversation, I don't mind telling like, I moved down here, and then there's just, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's I just don't want to tell you, but that I moved here and I'm by myself kind of thing.
Right.
I'll make up a story and be like, yeah, my dad lives like 30 minutes away. My dad ain't here. But they don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't think I'm just out here, alone. But yeah, I think it's just I think that's the same as like even before. Like if I was just traveling by myself, I'm not gonna tell everybody everything.
Right.
Just I think that's the biggest thing. Other than that, like not really any real fears. Like I will say like one thing I feel like that's kind of popped up for me is like which I felt like I was kind of already practicing but left before I even left home, is just always making sure that financially I'm in a good place, especially now that I'm far away. I'm like nobody's around the corner, so if I had trouble or something popped up, I definitely want to be more than a little bit prepared. So I think that's something that's kind of moved to the forefront a little bit more, because you don't have that person like friends around the corner, sisters around the corner, somebody can come help me real quick. I'm gonna have to find somebody here. You know what I mean? So whatever the case or situation may be, I just want to be prepared, but not really any real fears.
What are you looking forward to?
I think it's just learning a new place, like, meeting new people, just seeing what else is out here, what it leads to, like what this chapter of my life is, because it's like, I don't think I set anything really in stone. Like, okay, once I get here, I want to do this and want to do this. It was like, I just want to see what this chapter looks like and kind of leave the door open for, opportunities. Cause I'm not afraid to try new things and stuff. Like I've just been seeing little things. I want to try horseback riding now because I've seen so many people riding horses. Not even funny. So now
when
I want to try
down, let's go. Because I'm coming. I already said it.
Now I want to try it. You know what I mean? So it's like just being open, because it's going to be some different things here, that weren't as available at home, or it might have been. And I just didn't even consider it because you get used to your circle and your routine and the activities you look for anyway. But it's like now, like it's kind of like there's no distractions. Like there's nothing in my way. It really is me versus like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to try? Because it's like all at my fingertips. Like I can kind of do whatever it is. And I could have did it before. You know what I mean? I think it's a difference of kind of like, I guess, getting yourself out of your comfort zone and around the people you're used to. It's just me. So it's like, well, what do we want to try this week? Kind of feeling.
And especially when there's like family obligations and there's always something going on with your family, your friends. So it's like, okay, you're being present for the people, but you don't necessarily tap into what it is that you want. So I totally understand what you're saying as far as that's concerned. Is this your first time like being like away from your family and friends? Oh, that's amazing.
Oh yeah. This is the first time. And so I was like, I'm definitely not getting younger.
Girl, we can't tell. Okay, you look about 21. 20.
You look great. Great. As long as they can tell, as long as I don't feel like it, we're good. I don't mind getting older. I embrace that piece, as long as I don't feel like it, we all right. But yeah, I was just like, I'm not, getting younger. Definitely wanted to get in the habit of not just, talking about things and it just being an idea, but if I can really make it happen, then why not?
So what is your ideal community? Oh, sorry. What does your ideal community look like? Like, what does it a fulfilled life look like in your new city? Like, how do you think that looks? Do you have an ideal? Maybe not.
Right. Like, I don't know that I do. I think to me, like a successful time here, honestly, would probably to a degree mirror back home, like where I, have a good support system, and I have, I don't have to have all the friends in the world, but a good amount of friends, where there's like-minded people like me that want to try different things and they're willing to get out there, and really to make the most of my time here. Like if I moved here and then decided I'm just gonna sit in the house all the time, it kind of defeated the purpose. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like unless that's really what I wanted to do, I guess it's successful, but really is to get out there. Like most things that I think about, I don't really think twice about. I'm like, okay, I know I want to go try a new restaurant, look up a restaurant, or if I've seen one, I just start getting dressed and I'm going. You know what I mean? Like I don't give it too much thought or like, oh my God, like I'm going in here by myself. I sure am. You can join me too.
That also comes with like age and like experience. Like you, in the time that we have been friends, you have kind of flown all over the place. And I'd be like, where you at? You'd be like, oh, I'm in Fort Lauderdale for the weekend, or like, I'm in, Philadelphia or wherever. What? You go by yourself?
Right. I'll be in Vegas next week. I won't be by myself, but yeah, like some things are still a part of me. Like I'm still going to travel or whatever, I'm still going to see the people that are already, in my circle. Now they have a place, y'all got a place to come to now. So I have places I can show y'all, you know what I mean? So I think the separation piece, because I think that's a part that most people ask about is like, well, how do you move? And like all of your people are back home. And I'm like, well, they just back home. You know what I mean? Nothing happened to them. You know what I mean? It didn't mean the relationships were all ended. It's just, they're just back home. They just in a different place. So, nothing different to me. So I still feel like I have the support system, even if they're not physically around me, it's fine.
For sure. Like, you phone call away, girl. What's going on? What's
right? There's Zoom, there's phone calls, Yeah, like I definitely
I miss the newness of a new city, of like the new restaurants and like going out and finding a thing. And like I love that. I love that feeling.
Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes when I've like talked to people, they kind of do the thing that I think I did back home, which would be like, when somebody says like they moved there or whatever, you're like, why? Like, why did you choose to come here? But we're coming from a mindset of like, I've been there for forever. So it's nothing new or exciting to me. But I think there's also just something that you tap into, because now it's a point for me to look up things and research things, which honestly, I probably could have did that back home and found a whole lot more to do. But I was just so used to what I was used to that you don't really think about it like that. But like here, like I said, I was researching things and places to do before I even got here. Right. So I always am. And I'm like, oh, this is going on. And I'm like, what y'all talking about? I see stuff going on all over the place. But I guess it's also when your interests. Yeah. And I guess it's also what your interests are too, because, you can get in a cycle of just doing the same type of things all the time. So that's all you look for. So yeah, I've definitely been looking up different stuff and to see what else I can try. Or even if I try and don't like it, I tried it. So exactly. I'm willing to give that a shot too. So but yeah, I think it's just having that, because to me, I'm like, I see a whole bunch going on. Not to mention the other cities that are around and they got their stuff going on too. So, so yeah, I'm glad I tried.
Do you think?
Go ahead, Karen.
No, I was going to say, do you think that do you like it enough that you're probably going to stay, or do you think you're going to move around a few more times before you figure out like where you want to land, or maybe you don't want to land? Maybe you just going to keep doing this.
I don't know. I was like, it really could, because the funny thing was like, once I finally got here, I was like, that was so easy. Like all of this, like making it sound so difficult for years, like it just being an idea and me just like holding back and not going for it. And I was like, that was literally not that hard. You know what I mean? Like it was no different than moving to a new place in the same city. Like that's what the physical aspect of moving felt like to me anyway. And I was just like, this was not that difficult. Like, girl, you've been dragging this unnecessarily.
But I think too, like the lead up to you actually taking the plunge was just like God was like, all right, I'm gonna wipe the slate clean, so you ain't got no excuses.
I agree. When I kind of pulled the trigger on it, it was like I didn't like wait to the last minute I was definitely like visiting different cities and stuff like that. But then when I was getting closer to, there was a situation that happened where I was like, okay, well, maybe if I put this on pause for like not a year, but like I was coming up, knew the ending of my lease was coming. So I had already put in my notice to my property. So I was like, well, regardless, I got to get out of here. So, so a situation that happened where like I kind of not second guessed it, but was willing to kind of put my plans on hold again for like another 6 months. And I don't think that was the answer. So at all. And then once I realized that situation wasn't going to pan, I was like, no, like I'm going to make a decision. Immediately in that same week, I made plans to come down here for the weekend. I went to visit a bunch of places, apartments and stuff like that. And made my decision.
I love
and
it.
That's
we was ready to go.
So before we let you go, because we're trying to hold you on your Sunday, girl. My favorite thing to talk to you about is adventures in online dating.
Oh.
And so, how is that going in the new place? Have you forayed into the peoples to see what's what or not?
No.
Okay.
No. And I was just like, I thought about that. I was like, how do I want to approach that? Like, do I want to try online again? Being in a new place. I would absolutely prefer to meet somebody in person. I had only met one guy since I've been out here. At least that approached me. That was a no. That was already a no.
Offline conversation. Okay.
Right.
Well,
right. That's another conversation. But it's like I'm open. I'm definitely open to meeting people. I guess it just hasn't been the priority yet. And then where I am, I'm like 15, 20 minutes from a military base. I didn't know that before I moved down here. So there's a lot of military people.
Girl, look, we come from a military area, so that's why we have the face.
I'm like, what's your stance on military? Because
I try to avoid them. And
no shade to our armed forces, but
I feel
y'all
like
be
all
trash.
military guys have a look. Like it's like you can kind of see them. Because when they used to come to Richmond down from Fort Lee, we'd be like, "You military, ain't you?" Like y'all just, and they'd be like, "How can you tell?" And I'm like, "Y'all just have a look. I don't know how to describe it, but we can tell on sight that you're military." So, and for me, for the most part, I've really been like, I just try to avoid that. Because they're usually all over. They got so much going on. This is just one stop of many,
they got hoes all over the place.
That too, and or kids.
It's the hoes in different area codes for me.
Literally, yeah. So, because actually the girl that did my facials back in Richmond, she used to live here, and so she was telling me about places down here before I moved. Christina, she was telling me about places. Yeah, she was telling me about places down here and like churches to try, and she was like, "You near the military base? Just go on post." And I was like, "Okay."
Christina, sweet self. I got it. You know what?
I guess it's like you want just. If I was looking for something serious, like I guess if I was just like, just somewhere to be, like just to be around men or something like that, then yeah, I guess. But for like somebody to actually entertain on a serious note, no.
Not only that, but like they're not gonna be there long. Like the most time you're gonna spend with somebody is maybe 2-3 years, and then they off to the next post, and then just up to you to decide whether or not you're going. Right. Basically, your whole life revolves around them. So it's just kind of like. No shade to y'all. Like a lot of my family is military. I think hell, me and Ken both. So it's just kind of like it is what it is. But thank you. Not at the stage of life I'm in.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're getting into, and if you're willing to accept it, I guess go for it. But
100%. Yes,
I don't think I'm for that. So
I don't think I'm for it.
Well, thank you so much for coming to join us. I will definitely have you. I feel like you would be a great addition to our dating with intention conversations in the future.
Yeah. And I want to hear more about like once you get settled and like you figure it all out. Like I want to come visit and hear more about what you do.
We probably will. I'm not gonna lie, because I think Kendra and I have been talking about doing some stuff in Charleston. So
Okay, yeah.
we'll probably be near. So I'll call you for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about Charleston too. So that's on the list. That's
Yeah,
another
so maybe we can
step.
do it together. We can explore and maybe make content out of it.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah,
So.
that sounds good. Thank you, ladies. This was fun.
Thank you for joining us.
All right. Bye, Mama. I'll call you later.
Bye. Okay.
Okay. So that was our conversation talking about starting over in a new city. It was so cool to like talk to her and get that feeling back because I haven't started over in a while. I've done it a few times, but like there is always that little spark, that little buzz that you feel when you start over. So I love seeing that on someone very brand new. So anyways, if you guys have any thoughts, any comments, have you ever started over from scratch, clean the slate in a new city? How did you build community? How did you find friends? We'd love to hear about it. Did you date? We'd love to hear about it. So drop down in the comments. Let us know what happened. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.